Welcome, 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 everyone. I'm going to go ahead and test the audio, make sure everything's okay while I wait for you guys to come in here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. Looks like that's working. I'll wait for a few of you guys to come in here. We're going to have a very deep, candid conversation today. Today is going to, Source has something very special to say today to our nation, to address our nation, the world, but specifically America. How do we get past Charlie Kirk situation? And this is about the unwoven sorrows of a nation divided. There's going to be a lot of healing here, and we're going to receive healing codes today. We're going to receive deliverance today. You do not want to skip this video. The 999 portal was yesterday, release of a lot of things. The karmic mirror, the karmic portal is open for us to finally come face to face with the energy with which is bringing the sorrow, so we can release that lower third today. This is what we're going to talk about. Guys, when you come in, please go ahead and put a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. I put my heart and my soul into bringing you guys these videos. Everything I do, I'm tapped directly into source, and my body, my essence is a channel to bring source consciousness down here to the earth plane so that we can grow and expand to higher realms of consciousness, right? And so this is what I'm hoping to do today with this message. And I think we need to really peel open some things as Charlie Kirk's. I'm calling this Charlie Kirk's America because this is the energy field that we find ourselves in. And today, as you guys know, one of my jobs as mother of the ages is to go ahead and to open these dense pockets of energy right within the collective energy field, and to open up certain templates so that we can heal from that. So, subsequently with Charlie Kirk America and the energy field that we find ourselves in has opened up the race template naturally. And that's why a lot of the videos have been talking about race, because this brought us into that energy field. It has opened up religion. And we can't, to be honest with you, race and religion in this country is really synonymous with one another. The karmic portal, like I've been saying, is open. And right now, what it's doing, the karmic portal is a karmic mirror, allowing you to see what's been going on over the past age and within the entire record of your soul, so we can face the karmic mirror. And then also to the end of the age portal is still open. This is the final showdown. We're about to run this thing back at one, right? This is the year of the nine. When we reach the year of the one, we should be on a higher vibrational plane, a higher state of consciousness. And this is what I am going to help us to facilitate within this moment. There's some deep codes that we need to heal as a collective soul body. And I want to be the channel, the vessel to facilitate this healing today. Welcome in, my beautiful sister Gail. Welcome in. So happy to see you. Welcome in. Beautiful sister Sonia, welcome in. Guys, put a like on the video and subscribe when you come in. I'll wait for a few more of you guys to come here. I know a lot of people say they're not receiving the notifications. Whew. Okay. Here's the thing. All right. Hold on. Let me make sure we can. Okay. All right. Let's see where I want to start with this thing. I don't want to be on here long, but I'm gonna lead us into this thing. So, yesterday the video, and then I was even like, Source, I was like, Source, you're real silly. Sometimes Source and spirit world be messy. I was like, you really want me to come here and talk about the body hoppers? Now that part was me, the title, the body hoppers, right? That was just, a fun title, but the situation is real. And if you didn't watch the last video, please watch the last video where I saw Charlie Kirk's consciousness potentially going into a black body. Have they facilitated that yet? I'm not sure, but I do see that as a strong possibility. And it was the energy of the person is some sort of civil rights leader or some sort of prominent figure within the Black community. This will be a sleeper cell energy that will go in and try to rewrite some of the laws that pertain to Black Americans, right? So you can watch that. Guys, first of all, let me just say this. It's kind of still a psychic investigation, but we need to take time to kind of make sense of the messages that we've been getting over the past week. Otherwise, before we move on, because I know that this is very multidimensional. So here's the thing, guys. Two things can be true at the same time. Five things can be true at the same time. When we're in 5D consciousness, which source is calling it the 5D spread, multiple different versions of yourself and versions of the situation are now all within one bandwidth, right? So as of before on the 3D realm, what it is just what it is, right? Because we can only see, right? Third dimensional. We can only see the front and two sides. We can't see fourth dimensional in the back, and we can't see fifth dimensional from a bird's eye view, right? Seeing all four sides and then having awareness of yourself as the fifth focal point, right? So because we're in the 5D spread, you have the bandwidth to hold the five multiplicities, right? Sources calling it versions of yourself, and to have awareness within your circumference. You have awareness of all of this. We have risen to the 5D. So when I here on this channel, Instructions for Humanity, Sphere of Consciousness, when I talk about the Charlie Kirk situation, I'm already on the 5D multidimensional scale. So on one end, some people in the 3D saw Charlie Kirk pass away that day and get shot. If you're looking with the 3D eyes, and if you're synced into the 3D energy field, that's what you saw. And then you saw and you felt the fallout that subsequently happened. So then you were plugged into of course, the race template, and of course the religion and the political templates, right? You're plugged into those energy fields, right? So if you're third dimensional only, that's what you saw. If you're fourth dimensional, right, then you saw the activity behind the scenes. You saw something going on with the back of him, some people in the back giving signals, right? You can see from four angles is what the fourth dimensional means. What that simply means is that you're questioning this thing. Did this really happen the way that they said it happened? But you're still thinking, right, he's passed away, right? This is fourth dimensional, but you're saying, hey, my awareness tells me there's more to the story. You know, that this Tyler guy may or may not be the actual shooter, right? So if you're fourth dimensional consciousness, you are plugged into that. What else happened that I did not see within the 3D plane, right? And then if you were plugged into the fifth density, you can see the multiplicity of the whole situation. So we see it from not only a bird's eye view, but we can experience it in different bodies of our consciousness, right? So we can experience it in our emotional body, in what was happening in the collective mental body, what was happening, right, within the energy body and the spiritual body. So this is how I'm presenting it to you guys, because I'm naturally fifth dimensional. So we have shifted through how we viewed it from a mental plane, right? Which when we tapped into the Charlie Kirk mediumship message, that was a mundane message that really tapped into a body of consciousness, what happened on a mental level. And we got into the psyche and into the mind of Charlie Kirk. And what we found about him is that in his soul contract, it was all about mastering the mental plane. So it was a very third dimensional contract that he had, right? And then as we started to zone out, right? And of course, that fourth dimensional consciousness is saying, hey, I see a lot of activity in the back. What else happened? I have awareness that there's more to the story. And then we start to tap into, well, where is the consciousness? After we left the mental plane, where is this consciousness going? Well, the consciousness, a week after, 2 weeks after, is still very much earthbound, very 3/4 dimensional. So for me, it's just a confirmation that, you know, Charlie Kirk is still around. But remember, in the 5D spread, Charlie Kirk can be around, still in his body, but he can also be around outside of the body as a earthbound spirit and still have died Or he could also be very much alive and consciousness separated, waiting for another avatar to continue his walk here on earth, right? So all of the multiplicity of this is going on in my through my psychic investigation. What's going on with Charlie? Charlie Kirk did not pass away that day. He was very much still alive. With what we saw on the 5D angle, he was still alive. Now, whether he got offed later on, that I can't tell you. But what I can tell you is this: Charlie Kirk's consciousness is still very much alive. This is your meat suit. Your consciousness is you. Your consciousness is like if you have a computer, right? And that computer is going down, you can take all the software, all the apps, the applications, all of the memory stored, all of the pictures, right? All of the data and transfer it to another device. And then you get that device and that device starts running just like normal. The only difference is instead of having an Apple computer now, you have a PC. It's the same thing. So when they do the consciousness split, they put his consciousness inside of another body, which, you know, we know that they've been doing in Hollywood for a very long time. It's still him. So this is kind of where the psychic investigation has led us, right? So I want to say that, okay? Welcome in, Sean. Welcome in. Okay, here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. Sorry, it's getting very hot in here. What really prompted me to come on here is that I was watching on Netflix the thing about Hurricane Katrina, a documentary, right? And it really plugged me into the collective template within, you know, within the Black race. It plugged me into deep within the template. And then I start thinking about the energies, right, that we're all plugged into, the Charlie Kirk's America. America has been hijacked by this energy. We are very much still plugged into a fear-based system. Right now, the program that America is running is a fear-based program to rewire and to lower your consciousness, to rewire the codes within the system, right? Because we were advancing too much. They will use anything that you can get an emotional charge from. These are what energies or entities pop into when they want to work on the collective energies, when they want to lower us, and when they want to, you know, raise us. They barely want to raise us, or that when they want to alter, they pop into these templates. The race template because it's emotionally charged, the political template because it's emotionally charged, the religion template because it's emotionally charged. You see where I'm going with this? Anything that you can evoke an emotion, this will have the biggest impact, either positively or negatively, right? So the Charlie Kirk America has really brought a energy up to the surface. Source told me we would get to this race template because there's a lot of healing that needs to come from this today. And so the Charlie Kirk's America, the energy field we're plugged into, is we're running off scarcity. Scarcity disconnects us from our power, disconnects us from us being the quantum currency. There was so much transference of energy, of our power, of everything we worked hard for within like a few days during that really rough moon cycle, the 23rd and 24th, you know, when everyone was waiting for the rapture. They got a lot of loosh from us. There was a lot of energy being siphoned from the collective soul body. And they needed to have us at a certain temperature in order to do that. So here's the thing. As they have us at a certain temperature within Charlie Kirk's America, to go in and lower our vibration collectively, to siphon. It's the same system siphoning again, religion, politics, the race template, all of that. All of that is just siphoning. It's a massive siphon fest. But while that's going on, we have a very important thing to do simultaneously. As they open those templates up to harm us, to bring us down in consciousness, there's people like myself, people like us who are viewing the templates as what can we go in and heal. Now that the energy field has shifted into this, we can choose the higher solid. We can choose to elevate the code of our creation. Within the race template, we can choose to elevate to the true God, which is the oneness spirit, while while the religion template is open. And in terms of the politics template, we can choose transcendence. We can choose sovereignty within that. We can choose not right, not left, but somewhere in the middle where it's you're guided by your own moral compass, by your own wisdom, by your own heart lamp, by your own Christ consciousness that dwells within, by your own heart space. This is what we use to actually navigate ourselves through these massive and very, very dense pockets of energies or templates, right? And so the first thing I want to say, guys, is when I was watching that documentary, you know, it was very interesting because I'm watching it. I'm not necessarily plugged into the emotions, right, of what the New Orleanians were going through, but I'm viewing it like from my conscious viewpoint, like fourth dimensional at least consciousness, right? Where I could see, all angles, but I could still see them as well and still have a connection, but I'm kind of feeling outside of the field. I'm not all the way synced in and plugged into the field, right? But, it really brought a sadness, but a pride at the same time within me. And, during the 99 portal that we just had, 999 portal, which I believe was yesterday, I was able to, release a lot of massive, massive, massive energies that are too dense to go to the new vibration, right? That's what the energy allows us to do. Today, we're still under that same energy. And I believe that Source brought me into that template to feel the emotions of the black sorrow. I don't know how else to explain it, to bring me there because there is a massive revival and a massive healing. There's something within those codes that needs to be lifted today. Now that the template is open, we can see inside. How do we see? I'm seeing with my clear sentience, right? I'm seeing with my ability for clear feeling. And to be honest with you, there's just something that we have to talk about, that I'm led to talk about, and that I'm led to heal and release today. Please put a like on the video when you guys come in. So when I plugged myself into the energy field of America, specifically Black America, and as it pertains to, Black people that live in America, not just African Americans, but Black people as a whole, immigrants included. There's a certain sort of, I don't want to call it, you know, it's a certain sort of sorrow that just comes with the body. And that's why yesterday was so important doing that video about, you know, them wanting white consciousness in black bodies, but that allowed me to even feel into the black body. The black body is carrying a lot of trauma from the past, and a lot of this has to do with water. A lot of this has to do with, the transatlantic slave trade, and even in New Orleans, we were still dealing with water. The energy of the black race, there's something with water that needs to be released. And you guys know I always talk about spirit consciousness being the substance of life, being of water, which goes back to the feminine part of source. So if we're at odds with water, how can we truly be tuned in and tapped into the true source? Already, guys, I can feel someone doesn't want me to get into this thing, but I'm gonna get in here. I'm gonna get in here because we have to get in here and we have to cleanse this thing. because of like what I felt, right? This is what I felt. There isn't any, as it pertains to the divide. Let me go back. Let me go back and say this as it pertains to the divide with between black and white America. It's obvious that this energy field has brought us a divide, not just a divide within race. It's brought a divide within classism, because classism will dictate the way that you think, the way that you perceive certain things, right? And it also brought a divide within religion. Within this Charlie Kirk's America energy field, it became very apparent to me that it appears that white and black people are praying to two separate gods. And this is something that we truly have to talk about. And you and I know that there isn't two separate gods, but it became very apparent. Something is not connecting, because on one end we get the far right, where it's the Christian values of yesteryear, where it was very synonymous with, classism, racism, prejudice, all of that. And then you get, the other end, when we talk about the black people, their sort of Christianity is going back to overcoming pain and sorrow. God's going to help us one day. Lack and scarcity. It's always their Christianity is at a deficit. It's never like really forward movement. It's always like, oh, we're going to pray to God and God is going to provide, food for today, or God's going to provide for this bill. And it's always, we're going to get our mansion in heaven when we die. Meanwhile, we have another class of people who are getting their wealth today, their mansions today. So what do we have two separate Bibles? Do we have two separate gods? It's because we're in two separate worlds. We're in two separate energy fields. And this is what, thank you. Now we getting in here. This is what the Charlie Kirk situation helped us to see. We are not a nation together. We are not one America. And we've never, ever, ever, never been one America. And I'm so happy that we're in this energy field and we can open up this massive template for us to see this, because we've been putting a band-aid on this thing for so long that now the energy has been let out and we can see we've never healed. We have never, ever healed. How many hundreds of years? And we haven't actually gotten anywhere, because black people don't understand white people and white people don't understand black people. I even asked one of my friends today, I'm like, I asked, I want to ask you a question. Do white people feel this? Like, I'm tapped into the collective sorrows of black people. And it's very heavy, right? And it's so heavy, in fact, that it's almost like if you move this pain that I'm feeling, it's either going to shift the world into something positive, or it's going to tear down the entire world. This is how heavy the collective energy is when I tap into the black race, into specifically black Americans, right? And so here's the thing. He said, no, we don't feel that. We don't have that, you know, like to feel that on a deep level. And right there, it just confirmed we literally have two separate experiences. So trying to actually say that this is one America, and even, something prompted me to listen to the Black National Anthem, because, it really aligns with the pain that I'm feeling, coming from this collective soul body of the Black race. And then you go to the regular national anthem, and people don't understand, why do we have to have two national anthems? And why is it always, the blacks need their HBCUs? And why is it always separate? It's because we have never actually been one. And we've been pretending all of this time, kicking the can down the road. We've never been one, because we don't understand each other, because we can't see each other. And so this is what I want to point out. In this Charlie Kirk's America energy field, this allows the karmic portal, which now being held open for the last people to come through. And what it has open right now is a mirror. We have access to a karmic mirror. And karma is not always necessarily bad. Karma allows you to see what it is that you still need to work on, what it is, the things that you took part in that your soul is rejecting as something that can actually power you to the higher solid, to the higher expanded consciousness. So this allows you to see what it is you need to heal and let go of and course correct in order to get to higher ground, right? And so that is what this energy field allows us to do for the ones of us who want to bridge the gap, for the ones of us who actually want to heal, for the ones of us who actually want to expand. There's some people who just want to be divided. They're not interested in healing, and that's okay. But I'm here to tell you that Source will bring a correction today within our code, within Black America's code. We will get a massive healing because our healing is a healing of many, many nations. We're carrying many, many nations inside of us. And yes, even the white race, we are carrying these nations. So a healing for this group of people is a healing for all of us. That's the one thing that you have to know. So we've never seen each other. And in truth, when I was speaking to my friend in truth, and I was like, you know what? I I respect you. I respect you. And you know that I respect you, but here's the thing. I have to tell you this. There are some things that you will never be able to understand if you have not walked in the shoes, if you've not been in the field, if you have not experienced it through the vessel. And that's a hard thing to swallow because they want to give you all of these things you can do. Oh, you just need to let it go. You need to heal. You need to move on. Slavery's been so long ago. Just move on. Just forget about it, right? It's happened so long ago. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Oh, if these other people can do it, then you can do it too. But not understanding there isn't anything that you can do, white America, but just to allow the mirror. Just to allow the mirror. We are your mirror. Imagine right now, this is the only way we actually heal and that we go through these portals and that we course correct code. This is a mirror. We are a mirror. And when you look and have the intimacy, not to look at skin, not to look at, at even how we show up and even the socioeconomic status, none of that, what we do for a living. When you look just inside, there is a reflection waiting for you because our healing is your healing. And yes, although you can't understand, and that I know that it's a hard pill to swallow because even when I told my friend that you won't be able to understand this. It's something that you just need to sit with that person, that energy, heart to heart, and allow the mirror. That's the only way to actually, and it sounds so simple, but this is really the solution that Source is given. We need to allow the mirror to happen. We can't actually get to the other side. There will be no America. See, here's the thing, guys. When I keep saying this group of people have to be made whole, I keep talking about the reparations bring some sort of healing as well. It's not the reparations by itself, of course, will not just do it. There has to be healing, but there has to be provision for the healing to take place because the codes remember. If you guys been on this channel, you know that everything's stored in that subconscious. Even the fact that most Black people to this day can't swim because they got traumas from the transatlantic slave trade. And that's why they don't go in the water. That is being held in the subconscious mind. So when they say just forget about it, you have to understand it's in you. It's in your DNA. So I need people. We're a mirror. This is the karmic mirror. And for any white person listening, allow me to be the mirror. And what I'm going to help you to do, if you feel triggered by anything, that's a spot where you need to go. And I want you to expand that and see why you're triggered by that. Because no one's out to get you. I'm not certainly out to get you. I want to help heal us. And I want to help, particularly because I am living inside of this body, right? And I'm telling you that what I have found in this moment, being in the energy field of the Charlie Kirk's America, has allowed me to find this sore spot within Black America. And I'm telling you, when we heal this actually helps heal white fatigue. Because even my friend said, to be honest with you, some white people are tired of it. That's how you get the white fatigue because they don't know what to do. It's like, what do you want us to do? It's a frustration. I get it. And to be honest with you, some Black people don't even know what to tell you to do because this is where we always had to get to. We always had to get to. This is, guys, by the way, I always talk about the cosmic time clock. This is how higher dimensional beings do things. It's not by a time per se. There's no such thing as time. It's when the energy shifts is when things can now move. And right now we have had an energy shift perceived to be bad with the Charlie Kirk energy field, right? That we entered this, this duality, this dualistic nature, this two gods we're praying to, two religions, right? Two races, right? This is really the original fragmentation, which, as you guys know, if you've been watching the videos, goes back to the Jacob and Esau template we've been talking about here as of late. This is a fragmentation. And so what Source said is that there was only one in the beginning. White people are a part of Black people. Black people are a part of white people. This is the backstory that is not in the Bible. This is what Source has said. In the beginning, we all know there was only the Black race, right? There were some original pain bodies or inflictions that were done against God. Now, I don't know if it's done against the God that, the false God. I don't know if the infliction was done against the original source, God, energy God. But what I know is there was an original infliction. And what God told this group of people, which back then would be Black people, to change, they did not change it because what? The karmic mirror. This was the solution to literally allow the karma to be a mirror to show you what you need to heal. They didn't want to do that. They were in ego state. They didn't want to do that. So God said, that part of you that's too haughty, that part of you that's too greedy, that part of you that's too money hungry, I told you to change. That part of you that wants more and more and more, that part of you that is willing to kill this tribe and slaughter that tribe and do all these things, that part of you that I told you to change that I don't like, I'm going to go ahead and put you in a deep sleep. I'm going to take some genetic makeup from you. I'm going to create a separate race. Still brothers, but yet separate. This is how we get the beginning of Jacob and Esau. This is the backstory, in the spiritual realm outside of the Bible. And Esau, which representation of the Edomites of the white race, and Charlie Kirk is holding heavy codes for Esau, right? So they will cause the same pain body you're causing me and everyone else. Then this group of people, the Esau bloodline, will cause the same pain body to you to get you to what? The karmic mirror. To get you to see what it is about you that I don't like. This is what God is saying. This is literally, Esau is the part of God, the part of Jacob that God told them to change. But they didn't. So yet they became fragmented. But they're not fragmented. There's only one soul body, one consciousness. But we've been living since the beginning in the fragmentation. And now under the Charlie Kirk's America, we see this fragmentation. We're still living within the unwoven Jacob and Esau, still fragmented and still fighting over birthrights. What are we doing to this day? Even myself, we're still talking about the birthrights. Oh, you took this, you took our land, you took this, you took that. It's the same conversation since biblical times. The Bible is metaphoric. The Bible is a multi-dimensional book that allows you to plug these archetypal figures and archetypal stories into your current situation. So this is the multi-dimensional way that we can utilize the Bible. And right now we can utilize it by looking at the Jacob and Esau, story and template, as I like to call it, and say that until these two become one again, we stay in the fragmentation. And now this is me as Mother of the Ages speaking. Source is telling me, yes, you've located Esau, but now you need to locate who Jacob is. Who on this earth plane currently holds the massive codes for that collective template. And then this is going to help me plug that equation in. These are source codes to now find the healing to bring the two brothers in back into wholeness and oneness, moving from the fragmentation back into the oneness spirit, right? And so I want to let you guys know that this is what's playing in on the background. So when the Charlie Kirk America, the energy field we're in, all it does is expose literally what the Bible said long before. All it does is expose the part of us that is not seeing itself. So as I'm a mirror here, I'm going to be a mirror here today to explain to you what's going on with the black race on a collective scale, how I feel it through my body, right? Through my emotional body, which pains me deeply, which pains us as a collective, right? And I see your messages, Sean. I'll get to the chat in a little while, and I want to stay here, right here on this vibration. And so I want you guys to understand that when we zone out, we got to get to the karmic mirror. And the karmic mirror says we've never been one, we've always been divided. And that, under this 999 portal energy, under the end of the age portal, it's asking you a question. So I'm your mirror, and maybe you are a mirror to me right now. We are just looking, not looking with these eyes. We're looking with the heart, the feeling, the clairsentience is really heightened throughout this time, right? And we're going to feel into each other's energy field to correct some of these codes, because remember, guys, when we heal, all we must do is to heal the original infliction. And the original infliction, believe it or not, was actually done against yourself, because Jacob and Esau are not separate, they're actually one. They came out differently because of the fragmentation, because there was already the code. So when, okay, this now it gets even deeper. Boy, I didn't mean to get this multidimensional. But even though, so God says, hey, I'm gonna put Jacob in the deep sleep and separate this, and now there's going to be twins, and this Esau will represent the part of you that I told you to change. But even within God doing that, that within itself caused a like, I want to say, a mutation. And so now it's deeper than just, it's deeper in just like how we show up separately. There is a mutation within our genetic makeup. And so when I talk about healing ourselves, what we need to heal is the mutation. And to be honest with you, how will I heal that today? That literally has to be, I have to speak into the source language, right? I have to speak into the vibrational tongue to even find this mutation. And this mutation is located within our sacral space, and I can feel it. And it's on the left side within the sacral space. And what we are truly looking at, and the reason why we can't be one. So this is what I'm knowing right now. We can't be one. As much as we want to be one, we can't be one because of the mutation. And I'm not here to say if sometimes we do things to fix one thing and then it ends up snowballing and making a bigger mess. So a lot of this stuff, y'all, within our creation, believe it or not, it's not all fixed like they say. There's variables within this stuff. It's not all fixed. Some of that free will consciousness can change things. Some of the things that we put into place to make corrections will correct something that day, but 10 years down the line, it could be a huge problem. Have you ever tried to make a correction in your life today to fix a problem? But then, let's say you fix a money problem, you need to pay something, but then you end up taking out a loan with a higher interest rate. And then it messes you up because now you have this massive debt that you take years to pay off. Although it solved the problem in the moment, but when you zone out, it caused you 2 years of unnecessary interest payments. This is what we've been going through. The original mutation to show us to ourselves through this karmic mirror. Because how human beings learn is when we bring things into physicality. And this is how I know that human beings are the ones that actually created God, because we filter everything through how we look. That's why God is in our image, because this is the only way we can perceive. And so essentially, the mutation is the reason why we have the fragmentation. It's deeper than the fragmentation. And that's why when I was telling my friend, in one end, for him, it's like, oh, this is simple to heal. We have to go in, you have to detach, you have to, go through a series of, so he's giving me the technicalities, right, of going through all the chakras and all of this. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to let you get that one off. But this body is saying there isn't anything, as much as solutions you have, there isn't anything that I would want you to do rather than to see into me. Without all of this, right? So this is the black race saying to the white race, see into me. You don't have to have the words, because there isn't any words, and there isn't any. There's been a major fracture, which is a mutation. So there are no words. The only thing that's going to heal this is the mirror, the karmic mirror. As you look and you feel the intimacy, as you look into me, which if you truly have the karmic mirror turned on, you should start to feel some emotions. It should start to trigger some imprints within your own body of where you are also carrying that same brokenness. And this is why, is Source revealed, in one of the last channels. And this is why, a lot of white people will sweep this under the rug, because it's so much to deal with, because they don't have a solution for it. That was a very powerful video, and they messed my sound up. I was really tapped into them and how they felt about race on a heart level. It was very beautiful, and there was a release for them. And so I want to offer the same right today for Black America. But the solution is the karmic mirror, just to have the intimacy, seeing into the heart. And as you look, you're going to see. And what Source is making a point to say, and is pointing out, even some of our Black bodies are so vulgar. Some, like even some of us are carrying so much trauma within the weight, within the pounds. You see people are 300, 400, 500, 600 pounds. A lot of these pounds is trauma. And so when people say, hey, just get over it, like, you don't understand, it's a mutation. It's a fragmentation and a mutation. And on top of that, it's years. When we look at this thing on just a micro level, it looks like racism and Jim Crow and segregation and prejudice and all of that. I'm telling you, it's much deeper. So yes, those things, when we heal that, now uncovers the fragmentation, Jacob and Esau. The mutation is the original infliction. When the When the Jacob was separated to create the Esau template, there was a natural mutation. And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know. I don't have the answers to heal that, because this is coming up in this moment. And this is why we've never been able to get here as a group of people, because what we're dealing with is far more than racism. It's far more than slavery. And even though that's so heavy and that's very prevalent within the templates and within the energy field of what I'm feeling, but it's even deeper than that. So the only thing that we can do right now in this moment is to allow the karmic mirror to start to dissolve some of this energy. Because if we go try to go in right, it's too much. It's like if you cut someone open and they got gunshot wounds everywhere. And if you cut one area open, the bullet might move to the brain or to here and cut an artery or something. That's when I'm filling into the template of Black America. This is what it feels like. We can't open, you can't open it up. And you think that it's just, and here's the thing, it's your bullets in there. I got to be real. This is the race template. And let's say the bullets are from white America, but the Black bodies are holding in the trauma. But now we have a problem, because the bullets that were put in, you need that back in order to heal, right? But we can't take it out, because if we start to take one out, we might hit an artery, and then we might lose the person. And like I said before, spiritually speaking, this group of people is tied to the tribe of Judah, which dates back to, Yehuda, Yeshua. It comes from the same tribe, the one they call Jesus. So here's the problem spiritually. If this group of people spiritually dies, so does the Christ energy. And it gets deep, because that is just how I understand it on a macro level. And so the problem becomes, how do we release some of the pain and not lose anyone in the process? And I hope that makes sense. And this is solely just coming from source. And you know what I say, source just ain't never ever lied. So it's very sensitive. And so the solution, source is saying, use the karmic mirror. And so we look and we stare into each other's essence, not eyes. Not eyes. We can't even handle that bit right now. We stare into the essence. And what this means is heart space to heart space. And what that looks like, for white America, is allowing Black America to offload some of this energetic waste that's been building up, because it's a lot. And they feel, okay, now I'm tapped into, and I'm saying they, because like I'm like viewing this thing from like 4D, 5D. So I'm even viewing both things. So I will use those words from time to time, even though I'm part of it. But in this moment, I must speak like that, right? How they feel that there is a bit of Black Americans' pain that was wedged so deep that they feel that you are the only ones that can take it, because this piece that wedges their brokenness, these jagged, sharp pieces inside of them, it belongs to you. And so what they are saying is dissolve that. It's like a binding agent. Yes, we had some traumas, but then there's this big binding agent that came in and welded it down so deep within us that it's like we're getting cut on our own breath, because there was already some brokenness there. And it's not for you to try to, you can't rationalize it here, because remember, when we're talking about Black people, specifically Black Americans, they're more in the emotional body. What white people or white Americans are more in the mental plane, as of Black people are more emotional body and spiritual body, right? And even, I would say, even energy body as well. And so there are some things that, as this karmic mirror is open, that we are just to look into each other's essence, which is the soul essence of the person behind the shell. Don't get caught up at the shell, because some of the shells I'm hearing look vulgar. Some of the shells, of black people scare white people. And some of that pain that they're wearing on their skin is from the pain from all of these years. And it's another reason why, sources saying that some white people, they don't want to look at it. They just avoid it altogether, because it is that thing, that white guilt, right? They don't know how to undo it, how to fix it. And some feel, well, it was our ancestors. And even though they do agree that that shouldn't have happened, some agree that it do, and some agree that it don't. But because they don't know how to fix it, they avoid it altogether. But just sitting within the energy field, because Charlie Kirk's America has cultivated an energy field which allows us to go into this template. And all you have to do is to allow the karmic mirror. And so within your own space, you can just ask Source, let me just sit within this karmic mirror, feel into the emotional state of Black America, into the emotional body, and allow me to be part of, to dissolve some of the denseness, because we won't get here. You don't understand. There isn't any way to get out separate. Otherwise, we would have done it already. As good as it sounds, Charlie Kirk's going to make America white again, and Trump as well. And, oh, we're going to get, our lands back, the indigenous people, the Aboriginal people. As great as all of this sounds, there's only one problem. It's still in the fragmentation. And the code of our creation says that we will not expand into higher density, into higher spheres of consciousness, until we become one yet again. There isn't anywhere for us to run. This is it. This is the end of the road for the racism. This is the end of the road for us not looking through the karmic mirror. This is the end of the road. This is literally the end of the age portal 999. We can do this. And so I'm going to start a light language, and then I'm going to call out some things that I want us to do for each other as it pertains to the white and black race, and everyone in between. No matter what race that you are, you can take part in this cleansing, because we are to fill with essence. And whatever it is that this karmic mirror, this end of the age portal as well, is showing you that you need to release, if you have participated on one side of the other, keeping the mutation, because it's a mutation, going, then that also needs to be released, because the only way out is togetherness. And the only way we can get back into togetherness, we got to fix not just the fragmentation, the mutation. And I'm seeing the mutation now. And to be honest with you, I've seen this before. I didn't know what that was, but now I see it. And as it shows up for me, it's a skewed way of how, Black people have a skewed way of looking at themselves. This is what it shows up for me. There is a part of you that needs to come into total acceptance of yourself, of the way that you show up in the world, of the how you look, no matter how different it is from the other people who you are surrounded by. This is all part of fixing the mutation. Even part of how you show up, I was not expecting to see this. Wow. I wasn't expecting to see this. I was expecting to come in here and hold it down for my Black people, but I gotta keep it real. Some of our features that we have been shamed for a very long time, like our fuller lips, right? Our bustier selves, our bigger hips and butt, and all of these things. In this moment, what I'm truly feeling, I'm feeling that source is saying that part of how we show up is also part of the mutation. Let me get more context on that, because that's kind of crazy. I didn't know I would hear that. I want to get more context on what that means from source. So what source is saying, it's not how you were created is the mutation. It's how you feel about how you were created is the mutation. Because remember, the more of the Esau is more of the mental plane, the mental body. And so the mutation will happen within the mentality, within the mental status of your own being, of your own well-being. So we have this skewed way of looking at what is divinely beautiful, but because we are filtering it through the fragmentation, that now leads to the mutation. It becomes a mutation when we can't see each other clearly. So thank you, source. This is very beautiful. It's just, I feel it, I feel it, I feel it. And now I'm tapped into the mental plane as well. So I'm tapped into how white Americans are feeling. So here's the thing, guys. It becomes the fragmentation, no, the mutation, when we filter it through the mental plane. Because here's the thing, we're fragmented still in the womb as Jacob and Esau. We're fragmented from still fighting over birthrights, over lands, over golds, over properties. This is what fragmented us, wanting to be originally, wanting to be bigger, better, and better, have the most gold on, have the most, lands and all of these things with all these ancient empires, right? So then we get the Esau. I'm going to show you what it is that I told you to change. So now you're going to get this. But here's the thing. This is how we got the mutation. God didn't create the mutation. We created the mutation because we started to understand. You see, when we became fragmented and Esau became a separate consciousness, it turned something online, which took the subconscious and split the conscious from the subconscious. Before, we were living within more of the sphere of operating within. There wasn't any like, oh, I'm gonna, I'm separate from my subconscious. No. When Esau came, when the fracture happened for Esau to come, now the Jacob bloodline, being more of the black race, got more of, let's say, this emotional sense of feeling, and still the deep connection, right? The emotional template takes us into the spirit of consciousness of the spiritual bodies, right? And then the Esau maintained the mental plane, because part of that now is what fragments us and cause a mutation, or rather a fragmentation between the conscious mind and the subconscious. Guys, let this come through clean, source. Let this come through clean, because we're about to learn something today. This is beautiful. So it's like we got split into two. And this is why we can't get along, because it's like the Esau has more of like the upper body, right? Let's the mental. And then we popped more into the subconscious, which is still the traumas. We naturally are living within a subconscious template, which naturally holds more trauma. So Black people will naturally be tied down to more, feeling more of the traumatic templates until they come back into wholeness, until we are fragmented no more. And this is also too why, they say that Black people are really emotional. We make a lot of emotional decisions, right? Because we as a collective are cut off from that mental plane. And what do we see, when we look at the collective, kind of white race, we can see them operating very well within the mental plane. They will even cut off, some of them will cut off their family members if they feel that they are not, upholding the family name in a good way. They don't have as much as that connection with the fullness of their emotional body. It's because God specifically gave them the dominion of this mental plane, because in one way it was cutting the part off of Jacob, which we'll say Jacob within the fragmentation. It was going to keep them feeling the pain because of what God told them to change in the first place. So in a way, they kind of got lowered in the code so that they could feel the pain body on a deep level, and which they truly have. So now what we're doing, guys, is we're zoning out. As most people are talking about this, we could spend all day talking about this, from racism and the prejudice and the Jim Crow errors and the slavery. And we've done all of that. And we will continue to still talk about that because those things are still important. But Source is saying, because we are literally living within a mutation, there isn't any way we will ever see eye to eye. So we truly can't approach it that way. And so Source has given us a backdoor method to be able to approach this through. Now we viewed the karmic mirror, and now we're looking into the mutation. So the mutation is saying there's a fragmentation, and the fragmentation separates us from the conscious mind and the mental body, which more of the white race got. And then the black race got more of the subconscious and the emotional body and spiritual body. And so we are literally running two separate codes. We are literally a head without a body and a body without a head. This is why we can't get anywhere, because the fragmentation becomes a mutation. Imagine someone just running around with a head. If you're the white race and you're just running around with the mental body, and you can plan and do all these things, but what about what about that deep compassion, right? What about that remembrance, right? Through the subconscious, and then vice versa. You can't just be running around juiced up on emotions and the trauma in the subconscious as the black race, because you are running around like a chicken with its head cut off. And this is why, you're not getting anywhere. And so this makes a lot of sense, is what Source is saying in this moment. And I'm channeling all of this. And within this, because we can't see ourselves, because what? We're kind of shut off from the conscious mind. And so within how the black people see themselves, because we do hold all of these original codes, that is what forms the mutation. So going back to the collective healing, a healing within black people as a whole is a healing for the world. We will be forever living within a mutation until the black race is made whole. Because remember, they have all of these bullets inside of them. That is spiritually what I see, and how Source shows it to me as a collective. Maybe not on an individual level, but when we view it as a collective, and the bullets are the multiple, now we get into the slavery days. Now we get into all of the, racism, all of the different laws that negatively impact us. And when we zone out, this is on a global scale. It's not just talking about this from America, right? So these are all of the bullets within this collective soul body. And the bullets, right? When you go in and you colonize different places, and you have to use, weapons, right? And you have to use war, and you have to use all of these things. And black people, because what? We are more the subconscious. So on a collective scale, we naturally hold the traumas in, the atrocities of the whole world. We are holding all of this in. And yet we can't come back together with white America or any other race. And this is all, we all, as a global race, fall into one or two of these categories, or a little of each. But we can't come back together until these things are removed. And so the way we do that is we feel the person from essence. Through the karmic mirror, we sit within the essence, and then we allow the karmic mirror to show us what part that we played. And then you could literally feel that welling up within you. And the heart space is really affected. I can feel that not just with white America, but both Black America. There's a massive pain body within the heart that needs to be healed. It needs to be addressed. And so within the karmic mirror, it allows you to feel the emotional impressions, right? Within these two races. And then you can take back your infliction, what part that you inflicted. And people say, oh, no, those are my ancestors. Well, you are your ancestors because remember, we are popping into these archetypal figures, but these archetypal figures have DNA, they have codes, and they all literally keep a record. And that record can be traced back through your DNA. And of course, through epigenetics, it tells us that if you are put in a certain environment for a period of time, then you are more likely to act out some of those things that in your DNA, even if they're negative. If you're put in a negative environment, then those genes, you are more easily susceptible to acting and playing out that gene expression or that DNA that is unhealed per se. And so the whole point is we're head and body. We can't have one without the other. One of us has the conscious mind kind of, within their control, and the other one has the subconscious. When we come back together, then we see again. All these systems shatter. And this is also too, now when we zone out even further, so much zoning out, zone out even further, there's an invested interest keeping us within the fragmentation. There isn't anything that the elites will gain by bringing us back together. So they will put puppets and props in places to keep us divided. So on one end, people preaching for one agenda or the other, whether it's right or left or black or white, is keeping us within the mutation. And this is how you will know now within the 5D spread, those system has to fall away. That's part of the old paradigm. If it's not talking about bridging the fragmentation and bringing this group of people back into wholeness, because black people are the only ones that can fix the mutation, because it's literally, they were the original fracture. They were once one group of people. Then the genes were fragmented to now get the Esau, which is still part of the Jacob, but yet slightly different code, but still yet one in the same. And it's because Esau's our mirror to see the original affliction, because we wanted to have all of these things. You go back and you look at all these ancient empires and all of the things that they did and they practiced, and all the wars and all the things, the captivity and all of the rest, and all of the different gods that came and all of what they did to women, to children, to each other. Like, there's been a lot because Esau holds more of, you would even say that's why Esau writes a lot of things down. As of black people, we pass it down through telling stories or songs, hymns, and it creates more of that emotional imprint because we're more about the emotional body. And so the whole point is that until these two come back together, and when the black race, not only must we come back together, but then now the black race must fuse back with the mental body, literally connecting upper and lower Egypt back together, mind and body, spirit and soul back together into oneness. Now seeing yourself clearly, because now you have access back with the mental body to now see yourself clearly. And when you can see yourself clearly, you can now fuse and fix the mutation. And I know it took me a long time to explain that, but that is literally how I'm feeling the message through the source codes, right? And so the mutation is more of a warped version of yourself because you were separated from yourself. I think I've explained that. So that's truly what Source wants to say. And to be honest with you, I sometimes I wonder, like, why do I keep showing up? Why do I keep showing up? Sometimes I ask myself that. You know, you feel so led. You know, everything I do is led. I feel so led to come here, and I don't know what I'm going to say, but I know that Source knows, and I know that Source has a message. And when Source tells me that she has a message, he has a message, right? Then I'm always obedient, and my body is a channel to receive the source codes. And that truly is how we get into the 5D spread of this new earth that people are talking about. We can't get there within the mutation and fragmentation. We can't go. It can't fit. Doesn't fit the equation. It's heavier than a feather. It can't go. So you have to decide, do you want to hold on to Charlie Kirk's America? Because the Charlie Kirk America is divided. And if you can't see that, then spend time more with the karmic mirror, because it is divided. It has even been able to divide Christian from Christian. This is how deep the energy field was able to cut, literally separating bone from bone, flesh from flesh. Like that was the energy of it. It's a very potent energy, which we can use it to heal. I want to urge us to use it to heal, because what was the other option? The other option is we stay stuck here all together, still fighting. And how long have we done that? It has not worked. Okay, I think I've said that. Whew. And now I want to release some source codes. And now I'm going to enter into a spirit of light language to heal the original infliction within the Black race. And I can already feel the energy going to the feet as well, still being shackled and somewhat still in bondage, in mental slavery. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. Can free your mind. And that's why, because Esau has the mental body on lock. And this is why we haven't been able to, when you say just get over it, you got to be able to process that stuff, right? Can't just process it within the emotional body. You got to have the mind capacity to process it, to release it. So we're both part of each other's healing. The emancipation comes through the mental body as well. And on an individual level, you could already be there. But what I'm doing is I'm healing the collective. This is about the collective. This is the collective energy. And so we will start releasing some of them shackles that I feel anchoring down, this group of people still. And there's a forgiveness that you must bring for yourself, I'm hearing. Within the Black race, there's a forgiveness you must give to yourself. Bimburota karalindere rashandire takara. Mamburota crescinda rambandire takarambandetta. Himburutu shunele rambandiretta. Mimburuta karandi shata. Bambruta liretta shambondiretta. Himburutu diretta karanirandire shambona. Himburutu diresharandiretta karambandiretta. Mumbrutta caraliraccinerata banarietta lirandi hinderat manirishanta. Bumbrutu deshandiretta kirandiretta. Humbrutu shandiretta liramdiretta carambuana sata carambo. Humbrutu deshandiretta lambandiretta. Himbarata kinirete lambandireshandiretta. Bumbrutu de Bumbrutu de kinirandiretta. There's some Arctic energy coming up. I see like ice. I don't know if it's Iceland or just mountains of ice. I don't know why that's coming up, but that needs to be healed. Bambrutu shinerata. Bambrutu karariata. Himbrutu tetakiriacha. Bambrutu da nireta da takirandeta shinereta. Himbruta kinirate lenandire shinireta takirande. Himbrutu dereta lirandireta dedandireta bandirete. Himburata lerandiri shindireta lerambunde dedandirambandena. Himbuna lerandeta lirandi. Hambura nireta leranire shandireta hanirete. Himburuta kinanirandeta bandireta. Hamburuta dereta ambona dedandireta hinda. Hamburata lera shandireta lerambandireta hinda. Humburata lirandireta kinda dedandirambona andetandi. Himburati da dedanira shandireta kinda. Handira nirata lilambunda dedelambani nedelambuata lerandi etandi. Himburudu shanirandi randi lelambuna nireta. Hinna delana kananirata lerandi shambona. Hinirani kanirati hinnerani atandi. Himbande grandi randi de shanirambande randa lerambundu shanirandi. Himburu nirani de shambande de takina. Tatakina, tatakina, bandirandita, handirata, kinandia shaneta, himburutri shaneta, bamburutu shanelani andeta, humburutu shaneandi, tandirandi, himburuta leata, hindire de lambandireta, indere lambandire rambuna, hindere bandireta, niriandi, narandireta, some sort of god Athena, something about that template needs to be healed. It's coming up. Bambuana ne ande shande ande antandireta. Himbora nereta kenerandandi andirindu narambandireta niriandireta. Bamburuani naranandirandera shambuna. Himo narareta nirandirandirimbun narandirandirirandirandambona. Bamburundu niratirandire shandirambande. Himburuteranina ranalambamburu lambande. Himburutu knerandi shambande. Bamburutu shaneramba. Hamburuta nireta. Athena, ancient Greek goddess of wisdom and warfare, strategy and crafts. She was known for her strategic mind and depicted as a fully armed warrior woman with an owl as her symbol. So the owl's a spiritual symbol, and patron of heroes like Odysseus and Hercules, born from Zeus' head. So that's, we get the Esau's, consciousness, right? She was also a patron goddess of the city of Athens, right, which takes us back to Greece, honored by the Pantheon temple and represents the honorable side of war. Okay, so this needs to be released because there isn't any honorable side of war. And so this is a template that the white race holds. And this is why we can go to war. America, we're going to war. There isn't any honorable. Because okay, I see that template spinning. Wow, I see it spinning. Here's the thing, guys. There isn't any, it's a lie. There isn't any honorable way to war. This was part of the original, thank you, source, original infliction with the Jacob, before Jacob and Esau were divided. This was that's what they thought. Oh, we're going to war against this tribe. Because back then, everybody was just melanated, right? Everyone was just black. Oh, we're going to war because of X, Y, and Z. So what you see in Esau going to war, because we're fighting for our country, there isn't any honorable way to war. So by this Athena, this is a lie. There isn't a honorable way to war. So when Source says to let go of the Athena energy, letting go of this warfare, she was proud. You know how many white Americans, this is why the alt-right people, the way right, you see them and they're, with their guns and everything and protesting, and the right to bear arms is just one step into this Athena energy, which is the right to this warfare that feels that it is good, that it is righteous and honorable, but it's not, because what the alt-right white people don't understand is that part of them is the original part of the black race that God didn't like. So the very thing that you're trying to hold on to is the very thing that actually caused the fragmentation and mutation to begin with. And you know, Source just ain't never lied about that. So when we look at Athena as an archetype, we're looking at the meaning of it. So it's letting go. There isn't an honorable way to go to war. And it's interesting. She was born from Zeus's head. What did I say? The Esau is more about the mental body. And I felt a strong pain on the right side of my head. And the Catholic Church, this actually popped up in Candace's reading, that blockage here on the right side. This is a massive religion blockage because they have an invested interest on keeping us. And that's why I'm telling you, white and black people through this America, this Charlie Kirk's America, black and white people, it's clear there's two separate gods going on. You can't tell me you're praying to the one true God because you guys could not be more divided. On one end, there's one God who tells you you can suffer and get your reward in heaven. Your mansion is in heaven. This is how the God speaks to the black race. Oh, you're gonna get just enough to pay your bills and eat today. It's filled with lack and scarcity, but God is good. Because I know that one day, girl, I'm going to get out this thing because my reward is going to be in heaven. If it ain't going to be on this earth, then I'm going to get it in heaven. It's always delayed gratification. So on one end, that's not good either. On the other end, this God says it's your amendment right to bear those arms and to, purify the race and all of these things. This is on one end what this God says to the alt-right people, or the white people that find themselves on that end of the spectrum, which is the part of the black people that God said he didn't like, which is the reason why we even got the Esau, to show the original Jacob bloodline that this is what I don't like about you. And so the very thing that the alt-right white people are holding on to is the very thing that actually caused the fragmentation. So none of this stuff will get us there. This is all coming from Source. I have no reason to come here and lie to you. It's all still part of the fragmentation. The more you hold on to what is white and what you believe is right, is the more you live in the original infliction that God said he didn't like about the original, inhabitants of earth. So how can you ever truly meet the true source energy God? You'll be stuck here forever. And it's the same thing, with the black people who resonate with the scarcity mindset, because they are in the emotions. They're not connected to the mental plane. They don't have head and body in congruence together. So it's just so much running off of emotions, and the emotions just keep you running scared. There's a lot of fear and a lot of scarcity within the black templates, the black race. And that's not good either, because what God do you know is about lack and scarcity. Only a God that would want to keep you chained and shackled down so they could continue to build their kingdom on top of your ignorance. So you guys are serving two separate gods. So none of you guys, these people in religion, miss me on talking about you praying to the true God. I don't see it. From where I'm viewing, I don't see it. Yes, some are, but the ones that are divided into those pockets of energy that I just spoke about, there isn't any way possible you could be tuned and tapped into the true living God, still being in separation, lack, fear, and scarcity. That ain't even source energy God's language. The language of source energy is abundance, right? It's love, authenticity, abundance, gratitude, thanksgiving. When you want to talk to the true source energy God, you just pop into one of those energy fields, and boom, there you are. It's oneness. That's how you get to the true God. For anyone who, we got to just make this thing simple. It's all about entering into the energy field. You want to talk, you want to go to the throne of God? Yes, you have it inside of you. But you want to go, you want to expand out and go deeper into the energies. You want to view it on a macro level because you yourself, you have the inner God within you. But if you want to view it more on a macro scale, then you could pop into one of those energy fields of thanksgiving, of gratitude, of love, right? Of authenticity, of joy, of prosperity, of oneness. And then you can commune on a macro level with the one true God. You can even sit into church, pop into one of those energy fields, and you may be one of the only ones communing with the true source. And this is why the music in the church is needed, because the music vibration will naturally take us there. And that's why I truly do enjoy the music in the Black church, because those sounds within itself, some of them, girl, like that organ, I'm still calling something weird with that, you know? It may attune us to a different frequency, but there is still some sounds, right, that can put us on a certain vibratory rate within the heart rate variability. I'm hearing that puts your heart rhythm on a certain rate to actually attune and align yourself with the true source energy God frequency, right? 144,000 frequency. So that's how you get to the true God. And you can be in church and get there, or you could be sitting at home and get there. It's really that simple. But the Charlie Kirk's America, the energy field, says there are literally two separate gods, which is not a God at all. If you praying to a fragmented God, then you ain't praying to God. That's just what it is. If you're still trying to fight for what's white and what's right, then I wanted to make that rhyme, but I wasn't thinking quick enough. But then you're going to be back here. If you're still talking about God's going to give me my blessing in heaven, then you literally being scammed. Seriously. And your ignorance will keep you lowly. And that is not the vibration of the true source energy God, because it is abundance, right? And so you're also going to be back here. That's just the truth. Okay? So this Athena energy, right? Believing that war is good. And that's why the template right now, we're all looking at Israel. You know why? Because we always had to get to this. And this Athena energy, right? And when they're stopping aid going into Gaza, if you think that you're going to get away with that, Israel, is it real? Is it real? Is it real? Is it real? Israel? See what I'm saying? Right there. It's right in front of our faces. If you think you're going to get away with that, the karmic portal's open. The karmic mirror. If you don't release the food and supplies to Gaza, then you will not be released from your own captivity, which I see you heading into, from all the lies, because your dark kingdom, fake kingdom that you build in the spiritual realm, tricking people like it was heaven. Nope, you guys were going to a fake Israel kingdom that they propped up, and working through the demiurge and through Yaldabaoth and through, all of this gets deep, through the 7 deadly sins, through the negative thought forms, through all of this, and also goes back to the mind. They've always manipulated our mind. That's also part of the original man that God didn't like, and that's why it shows up in Esau. So you wanting to hold on to, because this is how my people did it, that's the part you have to understand this. I can't make this more clear for anyone listening to me that is of the particularly the white race. Anything you're trying to hold on to, because you're saying that we want to keep this thing, we were losing ourselves. There's, so many people coming, the mixing is going crazy. We're losing ourselves. You're supposed to, because we got to dissolve back into oneness again. So anything you're trying to hold on to, the old way of the way your people did stuff, is the part of the very reason why we're fragmented. That's the part that God said he didn't like. And which brings me to the Athena energy, saying it's that war stuff, right? War is never righteous. Never. Because in the 5D spread consciousness, there isn't going to be any war. So you got to let that go. You can't enter into the kingdom with this stuff on your heart. It's too heavy. It can't go. Can't get there with lack, causing the mutation. Because when Black people feel into their emotional body without the sanctity of their mental body, they never, that's why they got all these bullet wounds in the body. That's why when you say, why can't Black people pull themselves up by the bootstrap? Because they're disconnected from the head, because you're the head. You're the mental. You got access to the mental, the conscious. They got access to the subconscious. That's where all the traumas and everything is. That's why. Because we were never to be fragmented in the first place. That's the whole backstory. And this is why you got to also do things in the Bible, but you also got to learn things outside the Bible. Because had I not been open to receive divine instructions from source, I wouldn't have got this. This is not in the Bible, but this is just an energetic backstory on how that story even came to be. What is the lesson on a macro level? So this is what, I truly want us to get this, because if you put your ego down, and by the way, your ego can't go. So even if you have an ego and you're holding on to it, that can't go as well. It's too dense. The energies are supporting our healing right now. Boy. Let's put these bodies back together. Mimburata kananirande nashata. Bamburota kaneleshandirandita. Himburona nereshandeta kanamandeta. Himbona karanira shandeta lambanderete. Himbora tandire tandire shinderandi inderambandire takireta. Himboron takaranata. Shumborutu shanatakara. It's when you hear the whispers from source. It's not audible. It's not even energetic. It's a soul remembrance coming through. I'm seeing a triangle. Source is saying the symbol of the triangle. You know how we date this back to every ancient civilization. The symbol of the triangle is representation of your fragmentation. Yes, it may represent things that are of a higher caliber. But when we take the things of a higher caliber and we don't plug it into the entire equation, source equation, then the things of a higher caliber become something to exalt and hold over others, which that symbol, believe it or not, has caused so many people to be enslaved. Things that are meant to be good, or things that are good, when you pull them outside of the whole and you isolate them and they do not have the balance of the entire spread, they now can become a demonic symbol. And this is why the elites are able to use the triangle symbol to do some of their dirty work. It's because there is another piece to that triangle that we're missing. So that triangle, right? When they just do the triangle, they put it over the eye. You know what I believe is missing? There also needs to be one triangle here and then one triangle that fits in the other way to now complete the mirror. Even even within some of our early civilizations, the symbols and signs are still part of the fragmentation. We've not met the wholeness thereof yet, is what Source is saying. But I'm telling you, Source is going to take us there on this channel. I believe it. Source is going to take us there. But we first have to understand what is wrong. We haven't even experienced the fullness of every civilization that they preach and praise about is part of the fragmentation. Source wants to bring us back into the fullness. Source is going to take us there on this channel. Source is going to take us there. We're going to go back before the written word, back to the vibration, back to the wholeness, the fullness. That's where we're going. Mamburu dakara shandi. Nambua nakara. There's so much more I could do, but I won't do that today because this is a massive template. There's still a lot more work to do, a lot more work, a lot more work. And I thank you guys. I'm in the chat now. Appreciate all the souls for tuning in and that we can put our differences down and just to look in the karmic mirror and appreciate who we are and what we are. And it is just my hope that we can see our beautiful reflection as a Black race to fix the mutation. Because you are beautiful and you are worthy. And this is going to bring a fullness back into the entire cosmos. We will have a revival, a jubilee. I believe that we are. I believe that we will. I totally believe we will. Wow, so many messages. I know you guys are probably talking within yourselves, but I'm just scanning through a few things here. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Gail. Yes, one love. Hi, Sister Carolyn. Hi, beautiful. Buffalo Wild Wings. Hello, hello. This was definitely one. Blue Ash, Josie, Grand Rising, Jason, Beeler, welcome in. Angel Milky Way, Manifest Destiny. Yay. Sean, Texas Woman, Sonia. I love you guys so very much. Please put a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, guys. I knew we were going to get into this template, right? But, Source never amazes me. Never amazes me. I just being with Source, just in the spirit, all the things I get to learn. Guys, I'm learning this with you guys. Like I'm just open to be the channel, the vessel that Source brings us through, but I'm learning so much. And I'm so happy to have accepted the call. And I'm feel deeply moved when Source moves, and I know that we just had we put a massive dent into this template, right? And I feel that on such a deep level. And I'm releasing over here. I'm feeling lighter over here. So thank you so very much. All right, guys. I love you. I love you. I love you. And so it is as we walk together in divine love. Be well.